Welcome to video game reviews. Yay, yay, new series, yay. Yay, new series, even though the old one is still going on. Probably, I don't know exactly when this video will go live, but even though Shadow of War and Captain Toad are probably still not complete, I am done with new playthroughs, not done anything that. It's all explained in the year in review video that you can go check out here on the channel. But I have a couple of video game reviews that I wanted to do now before I got done with a few other games that I've started and will finish, and then we'll immediately do reviews on. The first one I am going to do is NASCAR Thunder 2004. When people think about video game reviews, to be like, oh, think reviewing games that you would do a playthrough on. Well, NASCAR Thunder 2004, you could do a playthrough on. It wouldn't be a traditional style depending on what you did. This game is considered one of the greatest NASCAR, if not, I think it's the greatest NASCAR game ever made. Released back in November of 2003, it was made by EA. Right in the middle of EA's real strength and prime of their creation of NASCAR games, really sports games overall. They had, Madden and the NCAA and all this other great stuff that they were making at the time. They're just really in the prime. It was NASCAR Thunder 2004, I would say, is still even the greatest NASCAR game. I said this earlier. Even though other EA NASCAR games that came out since, other EA NASCAR games came up beforehand. You got the Technics lineup that came next, and then the Heat series, which is out right now. The newest one is Heat 5. I would say Thunder 2004 is better than all of those, and let's get into reasons why. So, I know that I've done a video on NASCAR Thunder 2004. And so that kind of doesn't fit with my criteria. I said that did a playthrough on those. So games that I've done one-offs for, that I maybe experimented a little more with, those are eligible for a review, same as this one. But NASCAR Thunder 2004 was one of the earliest video games that I ever played. My parents got a PS2 in 2000, which was 3 years before I was born, and they had NASCAR 2004 for it. That game came out about 6 months after I was born, in November of 2003. And I'm still in love with the game even now. I love playing it back then. I love playing it now. I think when you get into just the single player mode of the game, it is pretty fantastic. The driver selection is pretty wide. The driver selection is a little small. Actually, I wouldn't say it's wide. It's wide when you get through the game. At the very beginning of the game, when you get 40 base drivers to work with, and this is where one few flaws comes up for this game. The fact that I don't think there's enough drivers in the game, and I don't think the right drivers are in the game for some of this part. Of course, you got your big ones. You got Dale Jr., Michael Waltrip, Greg Biffle, rookie, Matt Kenseth, the champion that year. Mark Martin, you got Jimmy Johnson, you got all these drivers, and you get some other ones too through Thunder Plates. You get Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, Tiny Lund in this game, Elmo Langley, a few other very old Bobby Wowocks in there as well. You also get some drivers in the Busch series. You get Coy Gibbs, and a few others. I don't remember any of the other ones, but and you also get some Kevin Harvick as well. Is in both. And Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer's in there as a Busch Series driver, which is really nice. And but the only thing is the main driver selection I'm talking about here, the 40 main drivers, because I think the bonus driver selection is pretty good. But I think where the drivers lack, because there's 4 drivers that I think should be in the game: Jimmy Spencer, Todd Bodine, Dave Blaney, and Tony Raines. None of them are in the game. And how the hell can you have a NASCAR game at this capacity and not have Jimmy Spencer? Jimmy Spencer ran a full season, almost entire full season, 35 races in 2003. He missed 1 race, and that was for a outside circumstance. Todd Bodine, he ran mostly a full season. Dave Blaney didn't run a full season. And Tony Raines did run full season as well as a rookie that year. All 4 of them were really good drivers. Definitely more mid-tier. And the fact is not that they're not in there, it's just that the drivers that are in there over them Hermie Sadler, who ran like 4 races. Mike Skinner didn't even run a full season. He's in the game. Kevin LePage, Brett Bodine, like these guys who barely even ran races that year are in this game over drivers that ran nearly, if not a complete season, and did fairly well at some parts. I mean, none of the 4 won a race. The highest any of them finished, I think, was 3rd by Dave Blaney at Darlington. But Kevin LePage barely even qualified for any races that year. Same with Brett Bodine. Hermie Sadler. Like, what the hell is Hermie Sadler doing at a game like this? Jerry Nadeau, he was out of the season in May with a crash at Richmond. But that makes sense, at least. I mean, he was supposed to run a full season, so it makes sense that he's in there. Jack Sprague barely ran a full season. Ward Burton is still in there in his 22 car. He switched to the 0 before the end was over. Just like these guys. Why are they in there? And why are they in there over these guys? That doesn't make sense to me. But other than that, I think the driver selection is pretty good. The paint scheme selection is lacking in a few drivers. Dale Jr. for one. But I think the Joe Gibbs cars, Tony Storm, Bobby Labonte, each have some good, good paint scheme selection. Dale Jarrett has a good one as well. I think Mark Martin has a really good one as well. Some of the drivers that are not as well known, or haven't been around the Cup Series as long to that point, are a little bit lacking, but they have they all have at least a secondary scheme, which would be their test car, or they have at least one. But so they're hard to unlock as well. They're really hard to unlock. I've never unlocked every single paint scheme, but I'd love to. I'd love to go back and try and do that, but I just don't have the time. I also don't know how. But when you get to actual single player mode, other than that, the racing is really good as well. It's not like where you go into a turn and you bump somebody and that guy goes flying way into the grandstands or something. You know, you bump a guy and you might move him, you might not. You're gonna get damaged. I think how the damage is dealt in this game is really good. You get damage to your car, but you're able to repair it as long as you repair it quickly enough. And I think that is good. Obviously, that's if you play on easy mode. You play on a harder mode, you're not going to get that. Also, tire wear, fuel, and that stuff, you're not going to get that in an easier mode either. One of my favorite tracks to race in this game is Richmond. Don't know why. That's just the one I always race first, and it's always one of the races a little bit best. But all the tracks are really good in this game. And another good thing about this game is not just the main tracks. You get some Busch Series tracks. You get in Nazareth. And you can race in just fictional. You can race in a fucking sawmill. You can race in downtown New York City. You can race in Dockside. You can race in Devil's Canyon, Daytona Beach. I mean, you can race in all of those places as well. And it just brings a little more freshness to the thing, that you can put these cars that you would only see on certain facilities and certain tracks during a season, and you can put them wherever you want. And I think that's a really cool feature. And you get to unlock some of those. You get to go in the infields for a lot of the tracks. You can go, I think you can do the infields for every single Cup track. The only one you get to start with, though, is the Talladega infield, but I've unlocked a few others to do, and you can race in some tracks at night that you wouldn't normally get to race at. Like, again, Talladega, you can race at night. You can race at, like, Michigan at night. You can race at Martinsville at night. Now you can do that. Now they do that in real life, but back then you couldn't. You can race at other tracks that didn't have lights at the time. You can race at night as well. Like Darlington and Rockingham didn't have lights. You can still race over the Rockingham. That's awesome. Like, I wish they brought North Wilkesboro in that game as well. That would have been amazing, but it's not in there. Rockingham is a fun track. And just everything else. The multiplayer with split screen is a little bit lacking. I don't know if it's Thunder 2004 or if it's NASCAR 09 is the one where you have only a limited driver selection when you get go into split screen. I don't know which one it is. I think it's 09. I think it's 09. I know, however, that another kind of bullcrap thing about Thunder 04 is that you can't have alternate paint schemes when you play multiplayer. Unless, of course, it's a custom car you make. You can also, I forgot, you can make custom cars. That with your own cool custom paint scheme combinations and all that sort of thing. It's really cool thing, cool idea. And but you can't even do any customization with the paint jobs. You can't use any of the other alternate paint schemes. You can only use their primaries, and that kind of sucks. I really don't like that, but. Other than that, split screen again, shortened screen. It's supposed to be split screen though. It's really not too bad. The season mode is okay. It's nothing too spectacular. It's mostly what you're going to get if you play any other NASCAR game. You got like a career mode where you build up through the rankings, or you can just play a season as a driver of your choice. I think I like that option that you get to both, because if you just want to race the full season and you don't want to have to work your way up through the rankings, I think that's good. But if you want to actually have that challenge to work up through the rankings, I think that's good as well. So I like that. I enjoy that. But I think where this game 100% stands out as my favorite NASCAR game of all time, and I don't know if you get this in NASCAR Thunder 2000. I think Thunder. I know there was a Thunder 02, there's a Thunder 03. I think there was a Thunder 01 as well, or the NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, which is basically NASCAR Thunder 2005, but it's not named that or quite like that. Is the Thunder Challenges, the Lightning Challenge, I think they're called, or whatever. They got other great modes as well. You got speed challenges. You've got the Richard Petty driving experience, and all sort of thing. There's a few other fun modes as well, but I love the Lightning Challenge. I love the Thunder mode. I think it's called Lightning Challenges, and that is where you get to put in scenarios that actually happen in real NASCAR races around like 2002. Usually is what it is. 2002, 2003, somewhere around like late 2002, early 2003, anywhere from there. And you try and play them out and you try and recreate them in the game. And if you've played those modes before in wherever it is, I know you have the scars from that Johnny Benson challenge at Rockingham. That was the only challenge that gave me really any trouble to complete. But I eventually did complete it. I wish I caught it on camera. That was a very fun moment for me. It's kind of like getting a win in Fall Guys for me. It's like, it's super rare, but it does happen. You just need a lot of strategy and a lot of experience for it. So, but I do enjoy that. That is my very most favorite part of this game, because it is so cool to see the drivers get an interview. It's so cool to try and recreate these sort of scenarios and get to play them out, and you could try different combinations, you get different kind of things that can happen, and you just play it out. The only thing I don't like from that, though, is the fact that sometimes they make it a little harder than it actually was. Take again the Johnny Benson scenario from Rockingham. Benson only had Mark Martin to deal with at the end of the race, other than like lap traffic. But in this game, you get Kurt Busch thrown into the mix as well. Like, why is Kurt Busch in there? He wasn't even a part of the thing. There's a few others where that's the case as well, but they have a lot of cool other things. And of course, you can unlock Thunder plates, and you can unlock drivers and tracks and modes and custom paint schemes and all that sort of thing from that as well. You can do it from the other ones as well. I've tried some of the speed challenges. They're okay. And I've tried a few other things as well. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to touch on about the game. If you don't have the game, would I recommend getting it in 2020? If you have the right system for it, absolutely. You don't have the right system for it, maybe see if a friend of yours has it or something, or try it on PC, or at least watch some footage of the game being played. Probably not for me. My video on it wasn't that great. I'm probably going to private it, but yeah, I would give this game a flat 9.8 out of 10 on my own custom Metacritic score. That's what I'm going to give it, because there are a couple of flaws, but they're so minor that it really doesn't hinder the playability of the game. It is a great game, even 17 years later. And it's also, I also got a little nostalgia in there, because it was one of the very first video games I played, so I automatically love it. But yeah, there you go. That's my review of NASCAR Thunder 2004. I have the PlayStation 2 edition, by the way. I know there was probably play on PC as well, but I don't have a PC yet. Maybe I will when time this video comes out. Maybe I don't. I don't know. But until next time, guys, I got another game review to do. But otherwise, they might be a little bit slow and sparsed out. I'm playing through a game right now. I'm planning on starting through another game soon. But yeah, we'll see how they go. See how you like them. This is taking over playthroughs and see if they do better. So until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.